GeopByte.
Hello friends, welcome to the GeopByte. In this video, let us discuss some very important problems. All these problems were given in DRDO and ISRO previous exams. Since each and every problem is equally important, therefore please watch until the last problem. Look at the very first problem. The longitudinal stress in a thin cylinder subjected to internal pressure is option A, half of the hoop stress, option B, twice the hoop stress, option C, equal to the hoop stress, and option D, 1/4 of the hoop stress. Dear friends, as we know, the circumferential stress is also called hoop stress, is equal to PD by 2T, whereas longitudinal stress equal to PD by 4T, where P be the internal fluid pressure, D be the internal diameter, T equal to thickness. From these two relations, I can say that longitudinal stress equal to half of the PD by 2T, right? PD by 2T. But what is the PD by 2T? Half into PD by 2T equal to hoop stress. Therefore, the longitudinal stress equal to half of the hoop stress. That is the relation between the longitudinal stress and hoop stress. Come to the options. Option A is the longitudinal stress is half of the hoop stress. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the problem. Maximum deflection in a cantilever due to pure bending moment M at the end is, you are given the problem for cantilever beam. This may be your cantilever beam. This cantilever beam is subjected to pure bending moment, maybe in the anti-clockwise direction. The length of the beam may be L. Because of that pure bending moment, the beam is going to deflect. You are asked to find what is the maximum deflection. Dear friends, the maximum deflection Ymax at the free end is ml square by 2ei. Where m be the bending moment, L equal to length of the beam, E be the Young's modulus, and I equal to moment of inertia. So the maximum deflection is occurring at the free end of the cantilever beam because of that bending moment. Maximum deflection ml square by 2ei. Look at the options. Look at the option A, ml square by 2ei. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the problem. If the Poisson's ratio for material is 0.5, it is given Poisson's ratio 1 by m equal to 0.5. Then the elastic modulus for the material is option A 3 times the shear modulus, B 4 times the shear modulus, equal to shear modulus, indeterminate. Dear friends, these are all the problems which were given in previous DRDO and ISRO exams. As we know, the relation between the Young's modulus and shear modulus is Young's modulus E equal to 2G into 1 plus 1 by m, where E be the Young's modulus, G be the shear modulus, 1 by m is the Poisson's ratio. From this Young's modulus equal to twice the shear modulus multiplied by 1 plus 1 by m is given 0.5. So it is equal to 2 into 1.5 into G. So it is equal to 3 times the shear modulus. So when Poisson's ratio is 0.5, the Young's modulus is 3 times the shear modulus. Remember, Young's modulus need not be always 3 times the shear modulus. Only when Poisson's ratio is 0.5, Young's modulus equal to 3 times the shear modulus. Look at the options. Look at the option A. The Young's modulus is 3 times the shear modulus. Option A is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Read the fourth problem. A circular shaft subjected to torsion undergoes a twist of 1 degree in a length of 120 cm. The angle of twist is given. The angle of twist theta equal to 1 degree in a length of 120 centimeters. Length of the shaft is 120 centimeters. Okay. If the maximum shear stress induced is limited to 1000 kg per cm square, maximum shear stress is given, that is tau 1000 kg per cm square. Okay. And if the modulus of rigidity means shear modulus, the shear modulus G is given 0.8 into 10 raised to 6 kg per cm square. Okay. Then the radius of the shaft should be, you are asked to find in centimeters. Pi by 180, option A pi by 18, option B pi by 27, option C 18 by pi centimeters, option D 27 by pi centimeters. You know, the torsion equation is T by J equal to G theta by L equal to tau by R. From this you take this part. The G theta by L is equal to tau by R. Therefore radius of the shaft equal to shear stress multiplied by length divided by G into theta. But theta should be taken in radians. This 1 degree can be written as 1 into pi by 180 radians. Now look at the radius of the shaft. Shear stress. What is the shear stress? Shear stress is given 1000 kg per cm square. So 1000, okay, multiplied by L. Length is given. Length of the shaft is 120 centimeters. 120 centimeters divided by G, shear modulus. The shear modulus given is 0.8 into 10 power 6. 0.8 into 10 power 6. 0.8 into 10 power 6 into theta pi by 180. Once again look at the theta. This is the theta, it is in radians, pi by 180. You simplify this value with your calculator for getting around 27 by, around you are getting the radius of the shaft are equal to 27 by pi. That is the answer. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Okay, let us select the options. 27 by pi. Look at the option D. Option D, 27 by pi. Option D is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the fifth problem. A hollow shaft of same cross-sectional area as solid shaft. My dear friends, remember, for the same cross-sectional area, the hollow shaft always transmitting more power than solid shafts. This is the practical reason why the majority of the shafts for transmitting the more power used with the hollow cross section. Anyhow, for the same cross sectional area, the hollow shafts are generally transmits more power or more torque than the solid shaft. Option D is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the sixth problem. The extension of a mild steel bar 4 meters long, 2000 mm square, cross-sectional area under the action of an axial load of 20 kilonewtons. If Young's modulus is 2 into 10 raised to 5, you are asked to find the extension of the bar or change in length in the bar. The data given is the length of the body is given 4 meters, that is equal to 4000 millimeters. 4 meters. Cross sectional area of cross section equal to 2000 millimeter square. Under the action of an axial load of, the axial load is given, the axial load is 20 kilonewtons equal to 20 into 10 raised to 3 newtons. If Young's modulus equal to 2 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per mm square, you are asked to find the extension or change in length. Change in length delta L equal to PL by AE. The P 20 into 10 raised to 3, the length of the body is 4000 mm into 4000 divided by area of the cross section. Area of the cross section is 2000 multiplied by the Young's modulus. The Young's modulus value 2 into 10 raised to 5. 2 into 10 raised to 5. You simplify this value for getting the change in length. Approximately 0.2 millimeters. This is the change in length. I hope you got my point. Now look at the options. Option A 2 mm. 2 mm is not correct. Option B 0.2 mm. Option B is absolutely correct. Option B is absolutely correct. 0.2 mm. I hope you got my point. The answer is option B. Let us go for one more problem. Look at the seventh problem. Shear force is option A, rate of change of loading, option B, sum of the bending moments, option C, rate of change of bending moment, option D, none of the above. Dear friends, remember the rate of change of bending moment dm by dx is equal to shear force. Shear force denoted by F. Similarly, the rate of change of shear force dF by dx equal to intensity of load. Intensity of load. Since the problem is asked for the shear force equal to rate of change in bending moment or rate of change of bending moment. Option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got the answer. Let us take one more problem. Let us read the 8th problem. If a material expands freely due to heating, it will develop. As you know, generally, let us take the material. This is the bar. This is the bar. Initial temperature of the bar T1 equal to, let it be some 20 degrees centigrade. When you heat this bar, the temperature may be increasing from T1 to T2, maybe some 60 degrees centigrade. Because of this increase in temperature, definitely the body starts deformation. The body starts deformation. This is how the body deform under heating or while the temperature is rising. My dear friends, remember, as long as the body is freely expanding, as long as the body is freely expanding, no thermal stress are developed. But if you restrict the expansion, by controlling the expansion, if you restrict the expansion with a fixer or a rigid body, then it starts to develop some stress called thermal stresses. For avoiding the thermal stresses in a railway track, in between the two rods of the railway track, let this one railway track, one rod of the railway track, this is the other rod of the railway track. In between the two rods, you can find a small gap for avoiding the thermal stresses or for allowing the free expansion or free contraction. So anyhow, dear friends, as long as the bodies are freely expanding or contracting due to temperature change, no thermal stress are developed. So therefore, the option is no stresses are developed. But if you restrict the expansion, thermal expansion or thermal contraction, then thermal stresses are developed in the body. Those thermal stresses can be found by the thermal stress is equal to E into alpha into Tt, where E equal to Young's modulus, where E equal to Young's modulus, alpha equal to coefficient of linear expansion, dt equal to temperature change. That temperature change is equal to final temperature minus initial temperature. Anyhow, for this particular problem, no thermal stress are developed because the body is allowed for free expansion. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 9th problem. Circumferential and longitudinal strains in the cylindrical boiler under internal steam pressure epsilon 1 and epsilon 2. Here, circumferential strain EC is given as epsilon 1, longitudinal strain EL is given as epsilon 2 orderly. The first given value circumferential strain, second given value longitudinal strain. Okay, change in the volume of the boiler cylinder per unit volume. Change in volume by original volume. Indirectly, you are asked to decide the volumetric strain. As we know, the volume V equal to volume V for a cylindrical one, area multiplied by length. Volume V equal to pi r square by the area multiplied by length. Let us take the log on both sides. Log V is equal to pi. Anyhow, pi is constant. I can write directly log r square plus log L. Now you differentiate it on both sides. Then it is dV by V equal to, of course, so this can be written as 2 log R plus log L, because log x power m equal to m log x. So it can be written as 2 into dr by r plus dl by L. Here the change in volume by original volume is the volumetric strain, equal to, of course, dV by V, equal to 2 into change in radius by original radius is called circumferential strain, plus change in length by original length is the longitudinal strain. Therefore, change in volume by original volume is equal to 2 times the, here circumferential strain is given as epsilon 1, 2 epsilon 1 plus longitudinal strain is given as epsilon 2. So this is the answer. Anyhow, the change in volume per unit volume is 2 times the circumferential strain plus longitudinal strain. 2 epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2. Look at the options. Look at the option C. 2 epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope all of you got it. Let us take one more problem. Yes, read the 10th problem. Couple M is applied at C. Look at the simply supported beam. At A, there is a support and there is a support at B also. At C, there is a couple or bending moment M on a simply supported beam AB. The maximum shear force on AC will be, you are asked to find the maximum shear force in this AC region. Now, look at the diagram. Since it is having only couple, there is no forces. Even if I assume RA by the reaction at A, and RB by the reaction at B, RA plus RB must be equal to 0 because there is no force at all. For finding the RA in terms of bending moment and length, you need to take the moments about A and B. Let us taking moments about B. Let us take the moments about B. Listen. With respect to B, since we are taking the moments about B, the RA is developing the clockwise moment, whereas couple is in the anti-clockwise. Since we are taking the moments about to B, RA into up to distance B, the total distance 2 meter plus 1 meter, 3 meters. This is the length of the beam. Moment means product of force and perpendicular distance. RA is a kind of force, that RA into length, RA into length must be equal to, this is developing the clockwise moment, is equal to moment which is developed at C, it is in the anti-clockwise moment, because algebraic sum of moments must be equal to, 0. Just we are equated the clockwise moments with the anti-clockwise moments, then RA equal to bending moment by L. Of course, L equal to 3 meters. Similarly, for finding the RB, let us take the moments about A. Let us take the moments about A. With respect to A, listen carefully. With respect to A, this RB is giving the anti-clockwise moment and couple also in the anti-clockwise. Therefore, I can say that RB into, RB into up to distance A, RB into up to distance A, that is L, plus RB into L is in the anti-clockwise direction, M is also in the anti-clockwise direction, it must be equal to 0. For the previous one, just we are equated clockwise moments with the anti-clockwise moments. RB, RB, from this RB into L must be equal to minus M. Therefore, RB equal to minus M by L. So you got RA equal to M by L, RB equal to minus M by L. Even if you add these two, RA plus RB must be equal to 0, because plus M by L minus M by L equal to 0. That means sum of the reactions 0, sum of the moments 0. Now here I can write that RA equal to M by L equal to 3 meters. Similarly, RB equal to minus M by L equal to 3 meters. Then this is the RA, this is the right RB actually RB is in this direction, because RB is negative. This is the RB, and somewhere here moment is acting in this direction. That moment and RB both are balancing. Now the shear force diagram is coming like this. This is how the shear force diagram is looking, with a magnitude RA. With a magnitude RA means the shear force equal to M by, this value is equal to M by 3. So this is the shear force diagram. Anyhow, the shear force value is RA, that is M by 3 meters. Now look at the options. Look at the option D. Option D is M by 3 meters. Therefore, option D is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 11th problem. There are two bars equal length. Equal length means L1 equal to L2. Okay. And equal volumes. Equal volumes means volume occupied by the bar 1 equal to volume occupied by bar 2. Okay. And same material. Same material means Young's modulus for the first bar equal to Young's modulus for second bar. You can also write shear modulus for the first one equal to shear modulus for the second one, because the shear modulus also material property. Okay. One having the step diameter and other having uniform diameter. One is stepped diameter, other one is uniform diameter. If the stress produced in the both bars remain same, the stress produced in both bars remains same means the stress in the bar 1 equal to stress in the bar 2. Then stored energy will be, you are asked to find what is the strain energy stored relation. You know, strain energy, the energy stored within the elastic limit is called strain energy. That strain energy denoted by U equal to sigma square by 2E into AL. As we know, the product of area and length is called the volume. It can be also written as sigma square by 2E into volume. Then strain energy in the first body equal to sigma 1 square by 2E1 into volume for that section. Similarly, energy stored for the second one, sigma 2 square by 2E2 into volume for that section. But here, volume for the first one equal to, look at the value, volume for the first one equal to volume for the second one. These two are equal. Sigma 1 equal to sigma 2. These two are equal. E1 equal to E2. Therefore, irrespective of the cross section, even one is stepped cross section, other one is uniform cross section, the strain energy stored in both members remains same because L1 equal to L2, V1 equal to V2, E1 equal to E2, and the stress developed also same. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 12th problem. The given figure shows the shear force diagram for a beam. The given figure, look at the figure, it is showing the shear force for a beam. Okay, beam diagram for the beam ABCD. Okay, bending moment in the portion BC of the beam. You are asked to find the bending moment in this particular region, in the BC region. Since the shear force is 0 in the BC, definitely bending moment is constant. Bending moment is constant. But definitely bending moment is other than 0 because the product of force and perpendicular distance is the bending moment. Force is there at A, B, C and D. Since the shear force is the algebraic sum of forces, that force multiplied by distance is the bending moment. Distance of the beam is existing everywhere. Distance of the beam is existing along the length of the beam. Therefore, force multiplied by distance is the bending moment. Bending moment is existing between the B and C but remains constant because the shear force is 0. The options, look at the options, is a non-zero, definitely correct, is a non-zero but constant. Between the B and C, the bending moment must be constant but it is other than 0 only, though the shear force remains 0 between the B and C. The reason is force multiplied by the perpendicular distance is the moment. Force is existing either at D or at A. That force multiplied by distance, let us take, this is the distance, let it be K. Then bending moment at K equal to what? Let the force at this particular level is 5 kilonewtons. This length is 3 meters. Then bending moment at K equal to 5 kilonewtons multiplied by 3 meters. This is the 15 kilonewton meter. That is how you can decide it. So anyhow, option A is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the problem. when a beam is subjected to transverse shear force, the shear stress in the upper fiber. Dear friends, if I take the rectangular body, for a rectangular body, the shear stress distribution is like this. You might have studied for the university exams. This is how the shear stress are developing or parabolically varying. You are finding the maximum shear stress at the center. Maximum shear stress at the center. The shear stress at the bottom fiber equal to 0. The shear stress at the top fiber also equal to 0. Whereas bending stress will be 0 at the center and bending stress will be maximum at the outermost layer. For the same kind of rectangular beam, the bending stress are varying like this. The bending stress are varying like this. The bending stress are varying like this. This is how the bending stress are varying for a beam. One side it is tensile stress, other side it is compressive stress, like this. So once the beam is bent, right, if one side is tensile stress, other side is compressive stress, and vice versa also possible. But the shear stress are not like that. The shear stresses, एक minute. The shear stresses are like this. The shear stress are parabolically varying. That is how the shear stress are varying. Anyhow, at the upper fiber and lower fiber, the shear stress will be 0. Look at the problem. When a beam is subjected to a transverse shearing force, the shear stress in the upper fiber, equal to 0. Of course, lower fiber also equal to 0. Option C is absolutely correct. Look at the option C, 0. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 14th problem. Bending moment M and torque T, that is missing here, torque might be T, okay, is applied on a solid circular shaft. If the maximum bending stress is equal to maximum shear stress developed, then M is equal to the problem for torsion of shafts. Here M is given for bending moment, T is given for torsion. It is given if the bending stress is equal to shear stress. What is the bending moment in terms of torque? As we know, the torque T equal to pi by 16 into tau into d cube. From this, the shear stress tau equal to 16T by pi d cube. Similarly, the bending moment M equal to pi by 32 into sigma b, bending stress into d cube. From this, the bending stress sigma b equal to 32 m by pi d cube. So therefore, bending stress equal to 32 m by pi d cube is equal to shear stress 16T by pi d cube, because both are given equal. It is clearly given. If the maximum bending stress equals to the maximum shear stress. Here pi d cube is cancelled. Okay, finally it is 32 into m is equal to 16 into t. From this, the 16 2 times 2m is equal to torque. Therefore, the bending moment M equal to half of the torque. bending moment M equal to half of the torque. Here you are asked to find the M is equal to what? M is equal to T by 2. M equal to T by 2. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 15th problem. For a solid shaft subjected to a torque of 18,000 Newton meter, given torque is 18,000 Newton meter. Okay, having a permeable shear stress 60 Newton per mm square. The shear stress generally denoted by tau equal to 60 Newton per mm square. The diameter of the shaft is, you are asked to find the shaft diameter D. D equal to how much? Very easy problem. As we know, torque T equal to pi by 16 into tau into d cube. But remember, when the tau is in Newton per mm square, the torque should be in Newton meter. You should be very careful with the unit. When the tau is in Newton per mm square, torque should be in Newton mm, not Newton meter, Newton mm. Look at the torque given. Torque given T equal to 18,000 Newton meter, but it should be in Newton mm. Multiply with 10 power 3 to get in Newton mm. So anyhow, torque is 18,000 into 10 power 3 is equal to pi by 16 into tau. What is the tau in Newton per mm square? 60 into d cube. From this, d cube equal to 18,000 into 10 raised to 3 multiplied by 16 divided by pi into 60. You simplify this value for getting the D. I am giving the D directly 115 mm. Therefore, the required shaft diameter is 115 mm to carry 18,000 Newton meter torque. D equal to 115 mm. Look at the options. Look at the option C, A. Option A. Option A is 115 mm. Therefore, option A is absolutely correct. I hope you understood. Let us take another problem. Look at the 16th problem. The shear force is, the shear force is rate of change of bending moment. Almost the same problem we have done earlier. It means the same problem has given twice. 2 times it has given. Shear force equal to shear force F equal to rate of change of bending moment. It means the dm by dx is the shear force. Similarly, intensity of load, the intensity of load, let it be P, is equal to rate of change of shear force. Rate of change of shear force. So intensity of load P equal to dF by dx. Anyhow, it is asked for shear force. The shear force is the rate of change of bending moment. Therefore, option C is absolutely correct. Let us take another problem. Look at the 17th problem. Robert Hooke discovered experimentally that within the elastic limit, according to Hooke's law, stress by strain equal to Young's modulus. Stress by strain is equal to Young's modulus Young's modulus. That Young's modulus is the material constant, therefore it is a property of the system. Anyhow, stress by strain equal to constant according to Hooke's law. Stress by strain is equal to a constant. Stress by strain is equal to a constant. Look at the problem. Robert Hooke discovered experimentally that within elastic limit, the stress by strain is equal to a constant. That constant is called Young's modulus. Therefore, option B is absolutely correct. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 18th problem. A thin cylinder contains fluid at a pressure of 30 kg per cm square. The pressure of the fluid given 30 kg per cm square. The inside diameter of the shell is 60 centimeters. The inside diameter of the shell is 60 centimeters. Okay. And the tensile stress in the material is limited to 900. The tensile stress I can take as the maximum stress. That maximum stress is circumferential stress. Circumferential stress equal to 900 kg per cm square. The shell must have minimum wall thickness. You are asked to find the thickness of the wall. Wall thickness is how much? As we know, the circumferential stress equal to PD by 2T for a thin cylinder. Longitudinal stress equal to PD by 4T and PD by 4T, and the shear stress equal to PD by 80. Look at the three stresses. Shear stress is PD by 80. It is very less comparatively. PD by 40 is the longitudinal stress, and the circumferential stress equal to PD by 2T. Since the circumferential stress is the highest stress for the thin cylindrical shell, therefore the thickness will be decided based on the maximum stress. That's why I took the given stress as maximum stress. Now this circumferential stress equal to PD by 2T. From this you can write that the thickness equal to PD by 2 times the circumferential stress. Let us put them. P equal to 30, diameter 60 divided by 2 times the 900. You simplify this value. The thickness of the vessel required is equal to 1 centimeter. We are getting 1 centimeter. This is equal to 10 millimeter. Therefore, the answer is 10 millimeter. Option C is absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 19th problem. When a shaft is subjected to combined twisting moment T and bending moment M, the equivalent twisting moment is, as we know, when the shaft is subjected to torque, only shear stress are developed. When the shaft is subjected to only bending moment, bending stress are developed. When the shaft is subjected to both torque and bending moment, maximum shear stress are developed and maximum bending stress are developed. In that case, the maximum shear stress and the maximum bending stress are respectively found from the equivalent torque and equivalent bending moment. The equivalent torque or equivalent twisting moment TE equal to root over m square plus t square. Similarly, equivalent bending moment. Equivalent bending moment. The equivalent bending moment ME equal to half into m plus root over m square plus t square. This is equal to half into m into m plus this root over m square plus t square I can write as equivalent torque. So this is the relation between the equivalent torque and equivalent bending moment. But for our problem he is asking only equivalent twisting moment. The equivalent twisting moment is equal to, what is the equivalent twisting moment? Root over m square plus t square. Look at the options. Look at the option D. Option D, root over m square plus t square. Therefore option D is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. I hope you got my point. Let us take one more problem. Look at the 20th problem. A circular rod of 100 mm diameter. The diameter of the rod is given 100 mm. Okay. And 500 mm length. The length of rod is given 500 millimeters. Is subjected to a tensile force. Is subjected to tensile force, let it be P, 1000 kilonewtons. Let it be in newtons. Let it be in newtons. 1000 into 10 power 3 to get in newtons. Determine the modulus of rigidity. You are asked to find the modulus of rigidity. G is how much? If Young's modulus is, if Young's modulus E equal to 2 into 10 power 5 Newton per millimeter square, and the Poisson's ratio is missing anyhow. Poisson's ratio, generally denoted by 1 by m, is equal to 0.3. My dear friends, for this particular problem, this entire data is coming under extra data or superpolus data. This data need not be used for this problem for finding the shear modulus. It means it is not compulsory to use all the data which is given in the problem to get the solution. Sometimes extra data, that extra data is called superpolus data, will be given in the problem that you need not to take to get the solution. The problem solving in strength of material is very similar to like how our mummy is preparing the chicken curry. While she is preparing the chicken curry, she does not take all the things which are available in the kitchen room to prepare the chicken curry. Whatever the things which are required to prepare the delicious chicken curry, she will take. The kerosene may be available in the kitchen room, but she does not take the kerosene for preparing the chicken curry. Anyhow, for this particular problem, this is the extra data. This data need not be used for getting the answer. So let us go for the solution. As we know, the relation between Young's modulus and shear modulus is Young's modulus equal to 2 times the G into 1 plus 1 by m. That is the relation between the Young's modulus and shear modulus. From this, the shear modulus equal to Young's modulus by 2 times the 1 plus 1 by m, where 1 by m is the Poisson's ratio. It is equal to Young's modulus. Look at the Young's modulus. Young's modulus is 2 into 10 power 5. 2 into 10 power 5 divided by 2 times the 1 plus, look at the Poisson's ratio. Poisson's ratio given is 0.3. 0.3. You simplify this value to get approximately, I got the approximate G is 0.76 92. You calculate with your calculator into 10 power 5 Newton per millimeter square. This is the answer. The shear modulus is also called modulus of rigidity is 0.7692 into 10 raised to 5. Look at the options. Look at the option C. Option C 0.7692 into 10 power 5. So option C is absolutely correct. I hope all of you understood. So my dear friends, at this moment I am concluding this video. In the next video I will come with some other problems which were given in the previous DRDO and ISRO exams. My dear friends, since all these problems are equal important, my request is you please solve each and every problem at least 2 times. Pen and paper work is very important for the numerical part. Strength of material questions are mainly for numerical types. Therefore, without pen and paper practice, it is very difficult for you to answer the questions from the strength of material. Therefore, the abhyas, the practice is very important. The ladder for getting the success is practice, practice, and practice. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Have a great day. While you are preparing, if you find any difficulty from all these problems, please don't try to hesitate to send a message. Once you send a doubt for the GeopByte, definitely within 24 hours, you will be getting the answer. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
GeopByte.